Okay, here we go. Hello and welcome to your next episode of the Nourish and Strengthen podcast. I am so excited about our guest today. I've got Kaytlin Neil on the show. Hi, Kaytlin.
Hi, Lindsay. I was wondering when you were going to let me come on the podcast. I'm glad I'm finally on here.
I was actually going to say that. I was going to introduce you with our next guest asked me, when are you finally going to bring me on before I... So I'm so excited to be here. How are you doing today? Are you ready for Christmas?
I think I'm ready. Who knows? I feel like there's always these last minute presents that like pop up and I'm like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
I need to get this gift and this gift and this gift. But
Yeah.
as of right now, I think I'm ready, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this is actually going to air after Christmas. So I hope you had a good Christmas.
Thanks, Lindsay. I hope you had an awesome Christmas too.
Thank you. Anyway, let's touch a little bit about how we met. So obviously, most of our listeners know we met at Ideal Fit, Ideal Shape. Were you there before me? I feel like you were doing some things there before I was. No?
No, I came on to be your demo girl for the workouts, and that's my first introduction to IdealShape.
Oh, for some reason I thought you like knew them before that.
Oh, well, I knew Lizzie who got me the job there because I
Okay.
went to junior high with Lizzie and
Uh-huh.
she was like the graphic designer at Ideal
Yeah.
Shape. And so
Yes.
she knew that I fought. She knew me from junior high, and that's why
Shout
she
out
thought
to
I'd be a good person.
Lizzie.
Lizzie, she thought I would be a good demo person for the workout. So that's how I got that
And
gig.
you were so good.
I don't know. Looking back at that, I'm like, did I know how to smile? I was like so concerned that I was doing the correct technique that I was just like
Yeah.
straight face the whole time.
Yeah. I think that like looking back at old videos is always so awkward, let alone like, I mean, I started in 2013. When did you start? Was it right after or
It was whenever you started filming the Ideal Shape Up Challenge. So
Shape Up
whenever
Challenge?
that
I think
was.
that was like right away. I'm pretty sure it was either end of 2013 or early 2014. Like that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, that is wild. It
I
does not seem
know.
like that long ago. But then by
No.
looking at our outfits in the videos, it definitely seems that long ago.
Do you remember before they had like I mean, we're going to get into more memories, but really quick. Do you remember before we had like themes of the program and we had certain things we wanted to wear? We would wear like whatever. Like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. We have wild stuff that we wore. And the trend back then was so funny because like patterns were cool and like
Yes.
bright colors. And nowadays it's like very like nude, black, solid prints.
Yes,
And
solid
so
colors.
it's yeah, so it's funny looking back on all that. That would just be like, oh,
I
whatever you wanted to
know.
wear that day.
I remember you wore these SpongeBob leggings in a couple videos. Do you remember those?
I probably thought they were so cool.
I mean, I'm sure at the time they were so cool. And you
I
know what?
was
I remember this is one memory really quick, and then we're going to jump into the good stuff. Well, maybe this is the good stuff to some people, but I remember you came to a shoot and I was like, oh, my kids watch SpongeBob. And you were like, yeah, I grew up watching SpongeBob. And I was like, oh, I feel really old right now.
well, I still think I was like 22, 23 years old and like
Yeah.
wearing SpongeBob leggings. So it's not like I was like a teenager or anything. I was very well over the age that I shouldn't be wearing SpongeBob anymore.
But SpongeBob is kind of the best. I still love SpongeBob. So all right, let's
Hilarious.
go
But
in.
yeah.
We're going to jump in because you have such an incredible story and so many great takeaways for our listeners. And then, you guys, if you have been around the block with us and you're an OG from Ideal Fit and Ideal Shape, I do have a really fun, we're going to share some memories at the end, but I also have a really fun game for Kaytlin that she doesn't know about. So hopefully she will do a good job. Otherwise, we will not be airing this episode. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no pressure.
Just
No
kidding.
pressure.
So, Kaytlin, for people who don't know you, people who like maybe they just follow me and they're more recent to the podcast or don't know who you are, why don't you kind of tell us how you got started and how you got to where you are, really, and then I'll just ask you questions.
Yeah, totally. So I grew up doing dance, gymnastics, and cheerleading. I thought personal trainers were the coolest people in the world. So I always wanted to be like a professional cheerleader or a professional athlete. And then I wanted to be a personal trainer. So those were always my goals. And then I went and tried out for the college cheer team and I didn't make it. And I was like,
Which college?
it was Dixie College. It's
Okay,
now
cool.
Utah Tech
Utah
University,
Tech.
but
Right, yes.
it was Dixie when I went there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I tried out for that team and they were looking
Uh-huh.
for flyers like girls that they throw up in the air. And I was always the girl that was on bottom lifting the girls up. And I was
Yes.
more like a tumbler doing flips and stuff. And so I didn't get picked to go on that cheer team, and I was just like bummed. I was like, what do I do with my life? Because up until that point, like my whole identity was cheerleading. And then I thought I was going to do like bodybuilding or CrossFit or something where I stayed active.
Well, you did
And
do that.
then,
You did a show.
yeah, yeah. Well, that ties into my next thing, so it's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
funny.
Sorry,
It
I'm
was
getting ahead of
my
myself.
my thought process is funny behind that.
Okay.
But so my friends took me to some MMA fights, and I thought they were so cool. There was one girl fight on the card, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I just found a gym, signed up, started training, and then I also signed up for a bodybuilding competition to get me in shape for fighting because I thought you
Oh
had to
my
look a
gosh.
certain way to be
Uh-huh.
a fighter. But looking back on that, now that's so funny because bodybuilding shape is completely different than fighting shape. And so
Mm.
it's funny that I was like, oh, if I look like a bodybuilder, I'm going to look like a fighter and I'm going to do awesome. So,
Interesting.
so it was just
Wait,
kind
so
of
how
funny
are they
looking back.
different?
So bodybuilding is much more lifting focused. It's not super
Mhm.
focused on like cardio or performance. It's more
Mhm.
focused on aesthetic. So you want to look a certain way. With
Yeah.
fighting, there's a bunch of fighters who look like they're overshape or like overweight or out of shape, but they are killers. They have killer cardio,
Yeah. And just
and
strong.
their body just
Mhm.
performs really well. Bodybuilding is like really focused on aesthetics, and then
Yeah.
fight shape is really focused on performance, making sure your cardio is high, you're powerful, you feel strong, and that kind of
Gotcha.
thing.
Yeah.
So a little bit different.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, so then what happened?
Yeah. So then I just found a gym, started fighting, and I did pretty awesome through my amateur career. And then I turned pro, went through a little rocky start, and then I flipped
What
it.
year did you go pro again? I can't remember.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm awful at years. I think it
20,
was
I
when
think it was like 2017, 18?
I was 25 years old. So maybe
Mm,
7 years
16?
ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, 20, probably 16.
I can't remember. I was working at IdealFit then.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Okay. Doesn't matter.
I'm honestly awful with years. I don't know when I graduated. I only know when I graduated high school,
Do you
not
know your
college, not
birthday?
anything else. Yes, I do. Do I know anyone else's birthday? No, but I
That's
don't.
so funny.
Yeah. So so I turned pro about like 7 years ago. Went through a really, really rocky start. I kind of like questioned my career if I should do that. I went 1-3 in my first 4 fights. And then I had like knee surgeries and that kind of stuff. So I was like in a really rocky position. I had
Mhm.
back-to-back knee surgeries. My record was like 4-4 at the time. So I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm like,
Mm.
I'm beating up my body. Like, I don't feel good. Like, I look really dumb because I'm like this cheerleader who's trying to fight.
Oh.
And so I was just like in a really low spot. But then I was like, I am so much better than what I feel like my record shows. And
Mhm.
I feel like this is a really fun thing for me to do. And I really enjoy it. And so,
Okay, sorry. Can you hear me? My headphones, they dropped it again. Hold on one second. Let me just get back on. Um, okay, can you hear me?
yep.
Talk again.
Hello. Hi.
Dang it. Hold on. Um, the I don't know if the video or if the Zoom lost your audio. I think it's probably just my headphones. Do you remember where you left off?
No.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. We'll figure it out. Let me go
Okay.
back to. It's just it sounds when there's a guest, it sounds super echoey when I don't have my headphones, and so
Gotcha.
but I don't know. This has never happened actually in the middle of it where it loses connection. Okay, talk again.
Hello.
Okay, wait. Now my connect. It's back.
No, I can't hear you, but you're muted.
Okay, there. Yeah, I knew that on accident. Select a speaker. Okay, AirPod. Okay, talk again.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, yes, perfect. Okay, so go back to, um, you said, oh, go back to the part where you said, I felt really dumb. I was this cheerleader trying to fight. That's right about
Okay.
when I lost you.
Okay. So my record was 4-4. I felt really dumb because I was this cheerleader who was trying to fight. And then I kind of had to like dig a little bit deeper and realize the reason why I'm fighting. I'm like, it's something that I enjoy doing, whether I win or lose. It has or it makes it so I have a goal to work towards. And I really just enjoy fighting. I think it's so fun. You meet awesome people through the community and that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed it. And so I had to dig deeper and be like, okay, what things do I need to change about my training or my mindset to get me to where I want to be? And then I flipped it around and went 6-2 in my last 8 fights. And so like
So cool.
pulling through that down part was really, really hard.
Yeah.
Um, but it was definitely like worth the reward.
Let's talk about that if you don't mind. So, you mentioned what do I need to change with my mindset and my training? Like how talk about the role of mindset in all of this.
Yeah. So with my mindset, I was just focused on going through the motions. Like I would never miss practice. I'd always just like show up, kind of do the bare minimum, get through practice, and then go home. So with my mindset, I had to change. Like I need to go in there and really work on myself to improve. I have to go in there and really try to hit these certain techniques or these certain moves so I can really try to improve. And so I have more skill set to use in my fights and that kind of stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
and also like with my fights, like majority of the fights that I've lost are split decisions. So that means two
Mm-hmm.
judges saw it one girl's way and one judge saw it my way. So if one
Mm-hmm.
more judge saw it my way, then I would have won the fight.
So
And so
close.
so it's like really close. And it's
Yeah.
because I felt like I held back. I don't feel like I was out
Mm.
skilled or out techniqued by anybody. It was just because I didn't throw as much as I should have.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I like really had to I really had to switch my mindset and be more aggressive and that kind of thing, which aggression doesn't come naturally to me. So
Okay.
I really had to like dig down deep and find that in me to be like, okay, I want this. So I'm going to have to like really try to fix that and like push through all of that stuff and make myself a little bit uncomfortable instead of just
Yeah.
going through the motions.
That's cool. So, like, what did that look like for you? Did that look like, I mean, just a lot of self-talk, or how did you work on your mindset? Like
Yeah, so I worked with a
visualization? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of visualization, but I worked with a mindset coach for a little bit,
Mhm.
and he helped me switch out the negative thoughts in my mind. So, let's say if I'm in practice and I get tired, I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I just kind of want to like skate by and just kind of like not really push myself. And then he told me, he's like, well, when those thoughts cross your mind, turn it into something more productive. So be like, I'm tired, and that's okay, but I'm going to flip this person around and put their back onto the cage. So it's like
Mm,
kind of like just switching those negative thoughts that pop in your head into a more productive one that can actually help you. And it's like
mm-hmm.
you're validating it. It's like, yeah, you are tired, but you're
Yeah.
still going to keep pushing forward.
I love that, just adding on, and that's okay. And so many people, like in their weight loss journeys, can say, I don't feel like getting up. I don't feel like getting up. And that's okay, but I'm still going to get up anyway, because like you said, it
It's true.
validates how you're feeling. You're not like arguing with yourself. Another thing I've heard similar to that is instead of saying, but, like, I am, wait. Is that what I'm trying to say? Instead of saying, but, you say, or maybe you just add, like, I am so tired and I'm going to get up and do this anyway, or something.
Yeah, totally. And I know with like me personally and clients, I feel like you beat yourself up. You're like, I shouldn't be having those thoughts. I shouldn't be feeling tired. I
Yeah.
should be able to push through. And so once you're able to be like, no, it's okay to have that thought, just let it pass through and keep going.
Hmm.
And I think that's like a huge thing to really focus on and not just like dwell on that and then beat yourself up about that thought.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. You also mentioned you had to switch your training. So I know you changed gyms, you moved. Like, what did all that look like? I would imagine that was hard to change from one thing to another.
Oh yeah. So the coach that I started out with in Utah, he's probably one of the best MMA coaches I've ever had. He is so
Mhm.
awesome. He's really technical, but there's just no training partners for me. It's so hard to get
Mm.
women in the state of Utah to train or to fight or to do
How
anything.
much would you pay me to
Um,
come and fight with you?
oh, you'd be a perfect partner for me.
No.
You're like just my
Yeah.
size, my same height. It'd be perfect.
You'd have to pay me a lot of money.
All right, deal. Yeah. So, so there's not a lot of women in Utah. So I had
Hmm.
to like I tried out a couple gyms, one in California, a couple in Vegas, and then I found one
Mm.
in Vegas that I really connected with, and they had a whole like women's team. And that was something I was like, this is so cool. I can go
Yeah.
every single round with a different woman and I don't have to like repeat partners. Like this is so insane.
Yeah.
And they were all like my size and they were all on like different skill levels. So there was people like in the UFC, which is the highest level. There's people
Hmm.
in Bellator. There's people on my level. There's people like who are amateurs. And so it was just so awesome to be able to work with so many different bodies and then find an
Hmm.
environment that I really thrived in.
That's so cool. And so you made these two changes. You hired your mindset coach. You really worked on mindset. Talk to me about self-belief. I would imagine you were really discouraged, with that, your injuries and with that record that you wanted to, change. How did you keep going? I mean, I know you worked on the mindset stuff, but did self-belief and any of that play a role?
Totally. Yeah. So I was on TikTok during that time, which I feel like was awful for my self confidence, even though that's
Oh,
when I was like
shoot.
going viral and like
Are you
that's when
not on
my count.
TikTok anymore?
No, I am. I am.
Okay, okay.
But I was just like 4-4. My record was awful. And then I had
Uh-huh.
back to back knee surgery. So when I was on TikTok, people were just tearing me apart. And I was like,
Oh,
this is like
sad.
nice because people are following me for some reason, but then people are like tearing me apart. So I don't get it.
Yeah.
Um, so like my confidence and my like self-esteem was like at a very, very like low position.
Oh.
So I had to just like kind of like remind myself, I'm like, I am a hard worker.
Hmm.
I know I can compete with the best in the world. I know I am like actually a good fighter. And I know I'm
Hmm.
skilled, I'm athletic and talented. And I had to like speak that to myself, even though there's some days where I didn't quite believe it. I had to be
Yeah.
like, I am a good fighter. I am a good fighter. I'm not
Yeah.
just a good fighter. I'm a great fighter. And so I had
Yes.
to like really, really talk myself up until I like started really believing it. And then once I was able to switch gyms and put myself training with women who were like the best in the world and I was hanging with
Hmm.
them, I was like, okay, maybe I actually am good. Like I can hang with these
Right.
girls.
Yeah.
So then it started becoming more and more like that started building my confidence, just me like showing up, putting in the work and putting myself in a different environment where I really thrived. Because when I
That's so
was training in
cool.
Utah, when I was training with guys, I was always just kind of like guessing the level I was on because I wasn't training with other girls. Like, yeah, I was
Hmm.
doing good, but I didn't know if the guys were like taking it easy on me or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's so different training with girls.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Okay. Okay, talk again.
Hello.
Okay, that I don't know what is going on with my headphones. Okay, anyway, we're good. I'll just go back to that makes okay, I was gonna say something. Where was I? Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. So what I'm hearing from you is you were like speaking the words you wanted to believe, and some days you believed them, some days you didn't, and then you were able to find evidence that they're true. And so I think that's totally applicable to like our clients because you coach clients as well. And sometimes we don't feel like we can do it and we feel like, oh, we're never going to lose the 50 pounds we want to lose or whatever it is. But you can tell yourself, I can do it. I am someone who follows my macros. I am someone who gets my workouts in. And the more you do it, the more you're finding evidence of those things that are true. So you moved to Vegas and you saw
Mm-hmm.
yourself competing with these women and you're like, oh, I am really good. And like, then that kind of just feeds up that self-belief even more, right?
Yeah, totally. And it just builds your confidence. Like, and I think with clients, it's like once you start showing up day after day and start habit stacking, and then your confidence builds from that just by like showing up and proving to yourself, like, oh, I am a person who drinks water every single day. I am
Yes.
a person who works out. I am a person who does all these things. It's not just these fun girls that I see on the internet. It's like me, I'm
Yes.
doing it. Like,
Yeah.
so
I
that's
love
another
that.
big thing.
That's so awesome. Now, people might not know, or maybe they do, but you were on a reality show. How did you get on The Ultimate Fighter? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I applied for the Ultimate Fighter, I think 2 or 3 times
Uh-huh.
before they actually took me. So it was huge that I got on. I was so excited. My manager sent me an application and then I like filled it out immediately, sent
Uh-huh.
him back, and it was like a 30-page application, so it took a long time to fill out. And then
Oh my gosh.
yeah, he submitted it and then they started like interviewing me. And then after the
Mhm.
interviews, I'm like, there's no way they're going to pick me from that because that interview went awful. Like
Oh
the guy
no.
asked me, he's like, you have a lot of hair. What do you do with your hair when you fight? And I'm like, I braid it. Have you ever seen an MMA fight before?
Yeah.
It was so
Wait, did
funny. And
he
so I'm
really
like,
not know, or why did he ask that question?
I have no idea. I don't know if he wanted to see my reaction or
Okay.
like my personality or what, but I
Yeah.
was like, that was such a weird like experience. Like I did not think I made it on the show from the interview process.
Uh-huh.
But then come to find out, I like went through quarantine and like medicals week. And
So
then
what was that like? You were in a hotel room for like a week, right?
yeah, so I was in a hotel room
Because
by
this was in
myself.
20, I know you don't know years, but was it in 2020 or 2021? It was all
So
COVID-y out.
it was 2021, yes. It was
Okay,
right after
okay,
COVID.
okay.
Yeah, so I was in a hotel by myself for an entire week, and it was so weird because like I didn't like talk to people. I still had my phone, but
Uh-huh.
I'm like, what do I do with my hands? Like
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like hanging out, watching TV. I would go to the gym like a couple times, but even with the gym, they would have to like escort you down there. You'd have to have a certain time slot, and then you can
No
only work out
way.
there. And then they would like move you back up to your room. It was so
What did
weird. It
you
was kind of
eat?
creepy. Um, so they brought in food for us every single day, and I don't think they know what weight cutting is for fighting because they're like,
Yeah.
"All right, we're going to Red Lobster. What do you want?" Or "All right, we're going to Texas Roadhouse. What do you want?" And I'm like,
No way.
What about greens and protein? Can we go
Yeah.
there?" I'm like, I need
Oh my
something where I can
gosh.
make my weight for like fighting.
So was everyone on the show doing quarantine at the same hotel at the same time?
Yeah, so I would see people, but we were wearing masks, so I couldn't really tell who they were. And we're
Weird.
like, "Ooh, is this a girl I'm gonna fight?" Or like,
Yeah, were you like eyeing them up and down?
oh yeah, oh yeah. We were all trying to like figure out who each other was so we can research them and like watch their
Yes.
fights and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. It was
Could you
pretty
figure
funny.
out could you figure out anybody or not really?
Yeah, I knew a couple people just from like being in MMA. One girl I actually fought and
Uh-huh.
I lost to her by a split decision and she didn't make it on the show and I did and I was like, sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Wait, she was in quarantine and she didn't still get on the show.
Yeah, so going through medicals week, they could still cut you and they bring in more people than what
Oh.
they bring into medicals week in case they don't
Oh.
pass medicals.
Okay, talk. Okay, sorry. So I heard, I don't, this has never happened before. I don't know why my,
Hello,
hi.
can you hear
I
me?
heard they bring in more people to medicals week. So go to there.
Yeah. So they bring in more people for medicals week than they will accept into the house because if they don't pass their medicals,
Yeah,
they
they
need
need
to
to have
have
people
extra
ready.
people. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Oh,
So,
so what else is involved in medicals week? I'm gonna just pick your brain 'cause this is so interesting to me.
basically, you would just go. I think I can't remember if I got an MRI. You would go get like a fight physical. You'd get your
Okay.
blood work done. We had to go see an ophthalmologist to make sure our eyes
Mm,
were okay. It's like kind of like basic medical stuff that you do for a fight. We had to get our blood work done to make sure you don't have like HIV or hepatitis or anything like
uh-huh.
that, just because you get blood on you
Yeah.
in fights. So they make sure everything's safe. But
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, Kaytlin, I
that's the
don't know
medicals.
how you like get punched in the face or punch people. Is that the most common question you get? Like, how do you get punched in the face or how do you punch people in the face?
I have no problem punching people in the face, but when I get punched in the face, I'm like, "Ah, what the heck?"
How dare
But
you?
I never thought that would be a common thing for me in my life. I never thought like, oh yeah, it's pretty normal for me to get punched in the face. Like that happens almost daily.
Oh my gosh, like even in practice?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, all the time.
And it still makes you like, it still startles you.
Yeah, I don't think like you get a little bit more used to it. It's not as shocking of a feeling than the first time I
Uh-huh.
ever got punched, but it was definitely like you kind of get used to it, but it's still annoying.
Does it hurt every time?
Not really. No. Typically you have like a lot of adrenaline. Don't
I'm
do
gonna
it. I don't
try
recommend you do it.
it. People aren't watching the video. I'm sitting here punching my face with my fist, and she told me not to do that. So,
Yeah, no. Not unless you're getting paid, don't do that.
oh yeah, okay,
I don't
that's a
recommend
good
it.
point. So, tell us what it was like to like live in a house with how many strangers?
Oh gosh, I can't even remember. Was it
Like 10 to 15
16?
or okay.
I think there were 16 of us.
Okay.
Like eight, yeah, eight on each team.
Was that so
Um,
weird? Were
yeah,
there
so
cameras around everywhere? What was that like?
yeah, yeah. So I'll give you a little behind the scenes. So
Okay,
we
yeah.
lived in this like really long house. It was one story, so the cameras
Uh-huh.
didn't have to run up and down the stairs.
Oh, interesting.
We had heavyweights and flyweights, so it was half guys, half girls, and
Uh-huh.
that was a even. I think that was a nicer dynamic for me because I get along better with males, and I think if I was in a house full of women for that long, I think I'd be like,
Oh,
oh no.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So it's nice because there was like one or two guys that were really calm and mellow and just like, what's up? And
Yeah.
like, so we got along pretty well. But there was no doors on any of the rooms. And
Really?
so the cameras could easily like run in and out of the doors or
Uh-huh.
in and out of the rooms. And it kind of sucked when you're sleeping because you didn't know if someone was just like watching you or like it was kind of just like
Really?
awkward. Yeah,
So
there was
cameras
doors.
could be on in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, there was cameras on us 24/7. There was like little cameras set up, and then there was like a big camera that would like walk in and out of the rooms.
Did you even sleep very well?
I actually did, surprisingly. I don't know if I was just so exhausted or what,
Yeah.
but yeah. Um, and then there was doors on the bathrooms, thank goodness. That would have been awkward if
Yeah.
there were.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're just like on camera all the time.
Oh my gosh. So how many days were you on the show? Like how long was the filming
Um,
process for you?
the filming process was 5 weeks. So
Okay.
I'm
Wow,
not sure how
that's
many days,
long.
but
That's
yeah.
35. Yeah. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
And
That's
then
crazy.
one thing about being on the show is that like you don't have a phone, you don't have any outside like connection to anyone. And so I had no idea what was going on in like the real world.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening out there? Because one day gas prices were like $2 and then all of a sudden
Uh-huh.
they hopped up to five. And I think it's when there was like a war going on or something.
And you're
And
like,
we're
I have
like,
no idea.
are we okay? Are we safe? Like we were like trying to like ask the
Yeah.
producers. They're like, is everything okay out there? Like,
Yeah.
and
Did
they're
they
like,
tell
don't
you
worry about it.
anything? You're
No,
no, they
they wouldn't
didn't.
tell us.
What was
Yeah.
going on? Do you remember?
I want to say it's when um it was maybe something to do with Russia.
Okay.
I don't really remember if something like someone invaded another country.
Oh, like Ukraine? Was that at that time?
Yes, it was Ukraine. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
that
that's
feels
when it
like
was
it wasn't that
happening.
long ago, but yeah, I guess it was. Crazy. That is
Yeah.
so interesting. Um, yeah, so let's talk about weight cutting for your fights. So we can talk about like numbers and stuff if you're comfortable with it, but I know you lose quite a bit of weight for each fight, right? What's your normal healthy weight and what do you try to fight at?
Yeah, so right now I'm walking around between like 145 and 150, and then I
Mhm.
fight at 125 pounds.
Oh my
So
gosh,
I
that's
cut,
so much.
yeah, I cut like 20 to 25 pounds each time, and I'm like,
And like how many
oh
weeks too?
gosh. So typically anywhere from like 4 to 6 weeks. If it's anything less than four
Oh
weeks,
my
I'm like, no, I'm not going to make 125 pounds, maybe 135, but not 125.
That is so crazy. So how do you do it? First of all, we
Yeah,
are not advocating this for healthy weight loss. This is for cutting
no,
fights for, yeah,
you,
professional
you
MMA
wouldn't,
fighting.
yeah, you wouldn't want to do it anyways. You don't feel great. You don't maintain it. So it's pointless. So unless you have to like make a certain weight on a scale, like I'm
Yeah.
only 125 pounds for maybe an hour or two tops. And
Yeah, because
then
then you
I'm
go out
back
to eat
up to like
afterwards, huh?
140 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, talk us
Yeah.
through like how do you do that?
So 4 to 6 weeks out, I start tracking my calories. I start at 2,000, and then each week I drop it by 100.
Mm.
And then typically my body like diets down to like 135 pounds. Then the week of my fight, I will cut out carbs, and I cut out, yeah, I cut out carbs and sodium. And then
Uh-huh.
2 weeks before, I'm like water loading. So I'm
Yeah.
drinking tons of water. And then I cut my water back down to 1 gallon. And then
Hmm.
so I cut out carbs and sodium. And so my body just starts flushing out water the week leading
Hmm.
up to weigh ins. I'm eating 3 ounces of chicken and 6 almonds 3 times a day.
Oh my
And I just feel
gosh.
so
That's
like
the week of.
depleted. Yeah, that's the week of. And that's when I'm
That
doing
is
like
so crazy.
interviews and photos and
And you're
this
just
kind of
like
stuff.
dead inside.
Yeah. I'm like trying to pretend like I'm happy, and I'm like, I want to eat a
Oh
cookie.
my gosh. And so that's just so interesting because, like in bodybuilding, you do extremes like that too, but you don't have to have the energy to fight at the end of it. So tell me about that last day. So you weigh in the day before, you hit your
Mm-hmm.
125, and then what? Because you're not fighting till the next day, right?
Yeah. Well, so after I cut out carbs and sodium, my body releases probably like 4 to 6 pounds leading up
Okay.
to weigh-ins. And then I'll go sit in a hot tub and like sweat out the
Mm,
rest the night
uh-huh.
before and then the morning of. So
Wow.
once I'm 126 pounds, I have a 1 pound allowance. So
Oh,
once
they
I'm
do. Okay.
126 pounds, I go weigh in, and then immediately after the commission like checks you off, I start rehydrating. So I like
Uh-huh.
drinking a Rockstar Recovery because it has the electrolytes and it has caffeine to make you feel a little bit better and
Okay.
gives you some energy. Then lots of water, Pedialyte, I really like body armor. And then
Mm-hmm.
you have to kind of just, it sucks because you have to like sip on things really slowly,
Uh-huh.
because you'll get sick because your stomach is so shrunk.
Yeah, and you don't, I mean, you're
Um,
fighting the next day. You don't want to feel like bloated and gassy and yucky.
yeah, which a lot of fighters make a huge mistake and they just start like
Loading.
stuffing their faces. Yeah.
Mm.
Where if they would like take it slower, they would feel so much better. And so then slowly throughout the day, like I'll start with fruit and then I'll start adding more like complex carbs, like
Mm-hmm.
pancakes or like
So you have the whole day
eggs, that
before
kind
to
of
do
stuff.
this. You're weighing in the morning.
Yeah. So I weigh in typically around like 9 or 10 a.m. And then I
Uh-huh.
have an entire like a day and a half until I fight.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
I honestly feel awesome by the time I fight. I'm happy because I have
Interesting.
food
Yeah.
and I'm rehydrated. I make sure that I like pee clear twice. That's how you kind of
Uh-huh.
know you're rehydrated.
Okay.
So I make sure I do that, and then I know I'm hydrated and I feel good, ready to go.
Okay. And so like how much weight do you ever weigh yourself right before a fight to see how much you gain back in that like day? What do you gain back?
Yeah, so typically I fight at like 138 to 140 pounds. So like
No way.
25 pounds, or not 25, 15 pounds ish.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. So it's almost like whatever you lost that last week is what comes right back on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's generally how it works. And you want to make sure
Mhm.
that when you start your water cut, that comes back on because you know that's just water leaving your body, not necessarily like fat or anything.
Yeah, and
So,
you want that to come back for, yeah, so you can feel strong. That is
yeah.
so interesting. So, question for you. Does this ever mess with your head? You get super lean for fights, you take lots of pictures, you do all the PR stuff, and then of course you don't stay that way. You probably wouldn't want to stay that way, but then you get back to like your normal healthy weight. And is that like hard for you? Because it doesn't seem like it's hard for you. I'll be honest.
Yeah. So it's definitely hard for me. Every single time I cut weight, I'm like, I can maintain this. I can maintain like
Right.
135, 140 pounds
The story of
every single
every
time.
bodybuilder as well.
Right? I've heard you say that a couple times too. So I'm
Yes.
like, oh, it's
Uh-huh.
not just me. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, and then I'll have easy weight cuts if I just stay between like 130,
Yeah.
140 pounds.
Yeah. For the
Um,
bodybuilder, it's like within 10 pounds of stage weight is like what everybody wants, but not many can achieve.
Yeah. And so I always have that in my head. I'm like, it's not that hard to eat this way and stuff. And then I go back
Yeah.
eating normally. And then I get right back up to like 145 pounds within like
Yeah.
3, 4 weeks after my fight. I'm like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
tried. I tried to
Dang
maintain
it.
it.
Maybe next time.
Yeah. But then it kind of sucks because like so many people are like, oh my gosh, you look so good. Like when I'm cutting weight, they're like, you look
Yeah.
so good. You look awesome. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. And I like
Oh,
get
it's the
all this like
worst.
validation.
Yep.
And then I'm like, I might look really awesome and shredded right now, but I feel like I'm like under eating, overtraining, and I don't feel my
Yeah.
greatest. Like I just
Yeah.
don't feel that good. It's not something sustainable, so it's kind of hard because like I'm getting all this reassurance and validation, but I
Hmm.
kind of feel like garbage.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's like kind of like messes with me. I'm like, well, I want to like maintain that, but then I don't want to feel like that. And then
Hmm.
there's like kind of pressure to stay leaner, but then I feel better and like I feel more powerful and stronger at 145. And so
Hmm.
it's kind of just like this mental debate or mental gymnastics every single time I do it.
Yeah. Does it ever
So
get
it's kind of,
easier or not really?
yeah, I think the older I've gotten, the more I've
Hmm.
realized like it's not so much about being like
The
tiny or skinny or
smallest.
like lean. Yeah, the
Yes.
smallest. And I think fighting has actually really helped me with my relationship, like with the scale in that way, because I felt
Hmm.
like I was always chasing 135 pounds. I don't know why that was always put in my head. Like I always want to be
For your
135. I
maintenance?
always, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And I'm 5'8". So
Yeah.
I was always like trying to chase this number, and I would like try to like diet or whatever to get to
Mhm.
135 pounds. And then once I realized like I feel so much better at 145 pounds, I'm not overly restricted. I'm still eating
Mhm.
foods I like, but I'm still eating healthy. I feel like my cardio is good, my power is good, my strength is good. Like the more I've like realized that, then I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, this the scale actually like doesn't really matter because like I feel awesome at 145 and I feel like I still like look awesome. I'm just not as lean.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Um, and then like the bigger girls that I've like looked up to in the fight world who fight at like 155, 145 are cutting from like 170, 175.
Mm.
And so they like I looked up to them. I'm like, they're really powerful and
Yeah.
they weigh heavier. So I'm like, that's awesome for like me to like realize that as like a young fighter. Then I'm like, maybe I do want to weigh a little bit more so I could be more powerful and like hit harder
Yeah.
and like stuff like that. So I think with fighting, like that has been a benefit. Like I don't really care how, like if people know my weight, it doesn't
Hmm.
like tie to my worth at all. It's just
Yes,
like
right.
more kind of ties into like what my season of life I'm in. Am I in a cut?
Yeah.
Am I in fight camp? Or am I in like maintenance, working on power and strength?
Yeah, I love that. And I wish so many more women would view like their life like that as opposed to always under eating, always trying to see some magic number on the scale and just kind of look at it. I mean, even if people aren't competitors or fighters or anything like that, but look at it like I'm in a maintenance season. I am in a fat loss season. I am in a power or getting stronger season or whatever. And that weight loss part is such a smaller part of their life and their year as opposed to like always trying to eat 1,200 calories and lose 5 pounds that's never really coming off because you're not consistent with it anyway. But it's like this thing that's always in your head, you know?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then it like helps my relationship with food a little bit more too because I'm not
Mm,
always like restricted and I don't feel like I have to like maybe overeat or I don't really binge eat but like overeat a lot or like restrict a
hmm.
lot and then eat a lot on the weekends because I'm never going to eat that food again or like go
Because you have the
overboard.
seasons, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or because like
Hmm.
when I'm in maintenance I'm like able to have that more often so I
Yeah.
don't feel like I'm never going to get it. I just know that like okay, I can eat a hamburger, but I don't have to eat a hamburger, fries, shake, whatever
Yeah.
else, because I'm never going to let myself have that meal again. I know I can have a
Right.
hamburger whenever I want it, but I
Uh-huh.
don't have to like go overboard.
Yeah, that I mean that's such a good take home point too is like restriction, all it does is it makes you want it more. And that's one reason
Mm-hmm.
why I love like tracking macros so much is because if you know like I mean you can go to like a hamburger place, for example, and you can have a lettuce wrapped burger and fries or you can have a full burger or you can have a burger and cheese. Like there's just like you just understand okay, carbs, protein, fats, which ones are most important to me right now. I can have the rest later, you know. It's not like you said like, "Oh, I can't ever have this again, so I'm going to eat it all right now."
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love that. I love your story, Kaytlin. It's so good. Should we move on to our game?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited to see what this is.
It'll be so fun. Well, I mean, I hope so. Okay. First of
Let
all,
me
what
grab a
Caitlin
drink
and I,
first.
yeah, you're
Sorry.
good. Me too.
Straw's not popping up.
Okay. What we were going to do was share some memories, but we were both like, we both felt like our memory wasn't very good. And I remember us a couple things, not really specific things, but more just we had so much fun on photo shoots, like so much fun, right? We have, I think my phone is full of pictures. If I go to my Google Photos and I find you, you're always towards the top. And I look for pictures of Kaytlin. We're all like pulling funny faces and just like hugging each other and just having so much goofy fun together. But we would always show up at work in the same outfit. Talk about that.
We did. Somehow, like we
I
would
don't know
either
how it
match
happened.
yeah, we would either match with like colors or like a scheme, or we would literally wear the exact same
Yeah.
outfit, like
Remember that
the exact same thing.
gray tank, that Lulu
Uh-huh.
tank that had like the slit down the back, and then we came
Yep.
in the exact same. Like that was a unique shirt. It wasn't just like a
Yep.
black tank top, you know. And we both showed up in head to toe the same outfit. It's so
Yeah.
fun.
It
Yeah,
was great.
it's
We had a
so
lot of the
funny.
same clothes.
Yeah, I also remember one thing I do remember is so we filmed. Let's see, uh, not ideal for the 6 week the Fit Body Challenge. The original in Skylar's basement, right? And this was before Ideal was like springing for like studios and stuff like that. We just used the owner's basement. And we built a little set in there. And I remember I always was thinking and joking, like, we're looking down on Skylar's basement. Only that's not Skylar's basement. It was a Wayne's World joke. And everybody was so young. Nobody knew what I was talking about. And I was like, come on, guys. And everybody was like 22 years old and nobody had seen Wayne's World. And I was like, what? That
Yeah, I still don't know what you're talking
yeah.
about.
It's this part where they're in like a news studio and it's like supposed to look like Wayne's basement. And he says, "You're looking down on Wayne's basement, only that's not Wayne's basement." And I would always say that about Skylar's basement. And everybody was like looking at me like I was the biggest idiot. And I was like, oh my gosh, come on, people. Anyway, I do remember that. Okay, so I have a game. I am gonna say some words that or like a phrase or something that has to do with our time working at Ideal Fit, Ideal Shape, and then you're going to tell me the word or two that comes to your mind. And then if we
Okay.
want to talk about it, we can. Okay. First one is ship shape.
Park City.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, that comes to my mind. So tell them about ship shape. What was ship shape?
So ShipShape was basically like, if I remember correctly, every year they brought in people to Park City who had lost a lot of weight or had an awesome transformation throughout the year doing
Mhm.
Ideal's workout programs. And the whole company stayed in Park City. We had all these people that we've been working with virtually over the year, and it was just so fun. It was like a little weekend get together party, and we got put up in these really nice suites that had like a sauna shower, and it
They
was
were
so
so
awesome.
nice.
And I was just like a poor college student. So I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is the best thing ever.
Oh, it was so fun. And yeah, they flew out all the winners. I think they chose a winner a month for like years. And then each year they'd fly out the previous year's winners. And we like wined and dined them. Like they had a photo shoot. They did like their whole before and after transformation, like interviews and pictures. And oh, it was the best time. So that was
Yeah.
ship shape.
The
Yeah,
only thing
go
that
ahead.
I didn't like about that is the workouts were always at like 6 a.m. And I'm like, wait,
Yeah,
come on.
I do
Come
remember
on.
that. We did group workouts that were super early in the morning. But I do remember I did a push-up contest with Skylar once and I beat him. Were you
You
there?
did.
I
No, but I will
did.
remind him of that. I will
Yeah.
remind him.
He probably has conveniently forgotten. Skylar is the owner of Ideal Shape and Ideal Fit. I feel like I got like 45 push-ups, which no way in the world could I do that many now. But I'm pretty sure I beat him. It was like the adrenaline, I think. Like everybody was
Yeah,
watching and I was like, I gotta beat Skylar. So
that's impressive. One
yeah.
time I had a handstand contest with Skylar, and Skylar is a pretty big dude. He looks like
Yeah.
a football linebacker,
Yeah.
and he destroyed me in a handstand
Really?
contest. He's
He
so
could
good
do
at
a
walking on his hands.
handstand?
He's
No
very athletic. Yeah,
way.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
incredible. Way to go, Skylar. Okay, another one. Daniel Carson.
Oh, was it cardio with Daniel, or what was
He
that?
did the challenges. Remember he did
Yeah,
those
the
five
challenges
minute
with Daniel.
challenges? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was always so happy that I didn't have to film those because that was more of like the cardio.
Yes, it was. And he was like, hey guys, we're gonna do a 5 minute run. Let's go. And he'd like wave to the camera and like run off. It was so funny.
Yeah, Daniel
It
was so
was
nice. He messaged me every once in a while on Facebook, like maybe
uh-huh.
once every 3 years. And so he's like,
Yes.
me and Lindsay should get together. I'm like, we definitely should
It
reunite.
was,
Do a little
yeah,
swim.
so fun. Okay, next one. The Hut Group.
Brits, the
The Brits.
Brits.
They were the company that came and acquired Ideal Shape back in like 2000, what was it, 16, 17 or so. Yeah, and they took over and then Kaytlin and I left after that shortly,
And that's why we
right?
left.
And that's
We'll just
why
leave
we
it at that.
left. And now here we are.
Yeah,
So,
I will say, so I think British people just have like a different work like environment than Americans do, especially
mhm.
millennials who are like, let's go play pickleball in the middle of the day. We need snacks. We have this
Yeah,
thing.
we
Like
need snacks.
we were always having fun in the office. Like working in the office, I compare it to like Disneyland because I thought it was so fun. Because
Disney.
we'd always be doing something random and fun throughout the day. There'd be something like a little bit odd going on. And so
Uh-huh,
it's like I thought it was
always.
always fun.
Yes.
But then when the Brits came in, they were like, nope, no more
No
snacks.
fun. No.
Numbers. We have to like keep things strict and whatever. And then they changed all the
Yeah.
formulas because
Yes.
Americans like their protein really, really sweet and they thought it was
And they,
gross.
yep. And then sales
So
went down, and that was the beginning of the end,
yeah,
unfortunately. Yeah.
yeah.
My next one goes along with that. It was going to be pickleball.
Oh, the best.
The best. Did you play a lot?
Oh yeah. So I injured my right shoulder when I
Playing
first started
pickleball?
playing pickleball. No, I did
Oh.
it fighting.
Oh,
But
okay.
so I learned pickleball with my left hand. So
No
occasionally
way.
now, whenever the ball comes like a certain way, I switch paddle hands and just like
Oh,
hit it
funny.
like that. But I don't even realize I'm doing it, but it's because I learned with my left hand instead
Yeah.
of my right.
Yeah. I never played only because when I was in the office, it was like I was not there full time. And so I was like, I got to come in here, get my work done, and get out of here. And I was not very good. I'm not good with anything with like a ball. period. So
I mean, I wasn't good either, but I still like to play.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Next one, San Diego.
Oh, the Real Housewives of Ideal Shape.
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's so funny. So all the trainers, Cami, Tamara,
Mommy trainer.
Nicole, yeah, we all went to San Diego once for fun. It was not a work thing. We were all like, let's go on vacation together. And it was so fun. There was some drama. And so that's why she says Real Housewives of Ideal Fit.
The awesome part about the drama is I wasn't in it. I was just watching it. So I was like,
Yeah.
this is the best. But
Yeah.
if I were in it, I'd be like, this is the worst.
Oh my gosh, so many good memories. That was seriously so fun. We've gone back as a family to San Diego like numerous times, and I'm always like, there's the house. There's the house we stayed in right there on the beach. It was so fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was really fun.
I know. Well, that's all the words I thought of. I don't know. I couldn't think of any others. Can you think of any others that are like just like good
No,
core memories?
I think my core memory is me dressing up like a sexy poop for Halloween and you dressing up as a parrot. And then we took a picture of you like looking like
pooping you out.
pooping me out.
Yeah.
No, that's a core memory for me.
That is a core memory. And then that same day, was it the same day? Do you remember when everyone left for lunch and we were like, we should walk on the desks? And so we got up and we were like, I don't know why we decided we were like 5 years old that day, but we're like, let's walk on all the desks. Let's step on every single desk. And so we just walked around the whole office and like walked on all the desks. We thought it was fun and there was nobody there watching us to get mad.
Just to be a little nuisance. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why we did that. Another one, do you remember the photo shoot where Jan was like, you should dress up as elves? Was it elves? What do we had the little those never got put anywhere. We were like, really? Sexy elves for Ideal
Yeah,
Shape?
so they wanted to do a Christmas photo shoot, but the costumes that we ended up getting were like sexy elf costumes.
And we didn't mean to, I don't think.
No, we did not.
Yeah.
We did not mean to. But we never actually used any of that.
Thank
It's
goodness.
kind of like a funny little memory.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, Kaytlin, this has been so fun. So fun. Thanks for coming on here.
Thanks for finally letting me on here, Lindsay. It's been a great time.
How can people learn more about you? Tell us, you coach now. How can people find more about you?
Totally. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It's Kaytlin Katniss MMA. If you just type in Katniss, like Katniss from the Hunger Games, I'm the first one that pops up. So just search Katniss, find me there, come hang out with me. I try to post some funny stuff. And I do fitness coaching.
You post really funny stuff. I love it. And you're a great
Thanks,
coach.
Lindsay.
So thanks for coming on. Okay. See you later.
Thanks for having me.